finally made it to Mission Control. You're out here on the highway, but with a purpose. We'll get into that in just a minute. We've been friends, and we have a mutual friend, for years, living in the same town and everything. Why don't you tell the folks what you do?
So right now I do insurance. I cater to truckers and transport services and basically people who kind of travel all around, because my insurance covers everybody nationwide on a PPO network, and I just love helping truckers. They're kind of good guys, and they're just kind of real people, and I save them a ton of money when I bring them over.
So explain, what is a PPO network?
Basically, a PPO network is just you can kind of go to any doctor you want. I'm contracted with the nation's biggest PPO network, and so truckers going, if they're in Florida or if they're in Washington or California, working with me, they can go to any doctor if they get sick or if they getting out of their truck and they fall or hurt their hip or something like that, and they can go to any doctor anywhere where they're at.
Okay, so everything's done over the phone, over the internet. It seems pretty simple.
Oh yeah, over the phone. When we actually sign you up, we do a little bit of a screen share so you can see my license and see that I'm legit. And I go over your program with you, and all the bullet points, and you'll be like, oh, that's great. And we'll sign you up there, and it takes about 20 minutes altogether, and then you get approved, and then you're covered, and then you're getting healthy.
Okay, and so what do people get in terms of the proof that they need to give to their medical provider or a doctor? What do they get back?
You'll get a card in the mail 5 days after we do the phone call. And I know if you're traveling all around, we can have it sent to wherever you need to, or you can get it digitally.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so you'll get it to your email, and so you can, if you have to go to a doctor, you can just be like, I have my card digitally, pull it up on your phone, and you're good.
All right. Well, what have some of the truck drivers that you've signed up, what were their thoughts about the process and what you've done for them?
Oh, super easy. I actually just signed up one yesterday. He just couldn't believe it, honestly, how little he was going to pay. I think he was at about $300 or $350 a month, and again, no deductibles, no copays. And I actually helped another trucker last week, and he was even a diabetic, and I got him on a little bit different plan just because he was a diabetic, but he was still only paying $400 a month and very little copays.
So what have you learned about trucking and truck drivers since you've been working with them?
It's a hard job, honestly, like just kind of away from your family a lot. Just watching your videos and things like that, just things I've learned. Just a respect for them, honestly.
Okay.
They're just kind of hardworking, blue-collar dudes, and, I just kind of respect that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hanging around me in Mission Control, you're going to be liable to learn a whole lot more starting right now.
That's awesome.
So here in the backside of the Chrome shop, they offer free parking, like the first 2 hours, and then I think it's like $1 or $2 every hour thereafter. Don't quote me on that, because I'm usually in and out, so I'm not paying that extra fee, but I believe it's $1. But as you can see, there's all sorts of different types of trucks parked for the night. And obviously all these guys are doing a job, but there's your owner operators, and then you have your company drivers, and usually the guys that I'm doing videos with are owner operators and the occasional employee, company driver. And the gentleman that we're gonna work with is right over here.
Oh, is that him right there?
Yeah. So he's all tucked to the side.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yesterday, I think yesterday or the day before, he went and got his wheels polished and got everything all, fixed up. And a lot of these guys, they they take being on camera really seriously because it's their image.
Absolutely. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, Juan invited you to ride in the truck, so why don't we go ahead and hop in and we'll head down the road.
Awesome.
All right, let's ride.
This one's a 10-speed. You've got trucks with 9 and 7s, and now what's popular is the automated transmission, and there'll be 12 speeds mostly and 10 speeds as well.
Right.
But there's actually a computer controlling all that and doing all the shifting and clutching and whatnot is by a computer. Let's not hit Chris in the ass on the first 5 minutes of the video.
So I asked him this.
When I hang out in the left lane, let you come past, that way you can get up to speed.
10-4, appreciate it, Chris. Listen to that and watch. You hear how it goes, ooh.
Yeah.
That little ooh lets me know it's time to shoot.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to mash that pedal.
Gotta remember, it's a 32-year-old mechanical Caterpillar with a little baby turbo.
All right.
Hey Chris, Ryan says he wants to take over driving.
He's a quick learner.
Yeah, he said I gotta pass the hard part. I shifted the gears. If I jump in the sleeper, he'll jump over here.
Right on.
How often do you have conversations with other people on this TV?
It used to be all the time. It was a form of entertainment.
Right.
But everybody's on their cell phones nowadays.
Oh,
So you hardly ever hear truckers talking to people. Look at that. Cool.
that's awesome.
Okay, he's at about 68, 70 on lagging.
How often do you gotta stop and fill up?
I could do about 1,500 miles. This one's 270 real gallons.
Wow.
So you can, I can actually fill up in Tampa, go up to Atlanta, over to Alabama, back to Tampa before I have to get fuel.
Wow.
Yeah, for instance, I've already done the round and I'm showing about a half a tank, which is gauges off.
Right.
But at half a tank, I'll take about 200 gallons.
Wow.
So I probably, have a real 50 gallons still left.
Wow.
25 in each tank, so it's about 5 inches of fuel
Right.
in each tank.
So what's the mileage per gallon on that?
I've never done the mileage on this truck, but I'm gonna guess it's somewhere between 5 and 6 miles to the gallon. Somewhere in there is probably the average.
Well, we found ourselves back here out on the highway with a gentleman that is a family to another person that's been on the channel already. Sir, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? We kind of seen you on camera already a second ago, but give us the formal introduction of who you are and what you've been doing out here on these roads.
Absolutely. My name's Juan, last name Ura. I've been out here trucking, man. I was just commenting to Ryan that my first 10 years were local, and I spent 25 years over the road, and the last 5 years or so I've been a little mix of local, and last 2 years just regional work. Run up to Alabama, Georgia, and right back to Florida a couple of times a week. Normally by Friday mornings like today, I'm headed back to the shop, call it a weekend.
Well, that sounds easy enough. Going back a bit, how did you find yourself getting into trucking?
At 17 years of age, Chris, I decided I was done with school, and my dad kind of put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Son, you going to school tomorrow?" "Nah, Dad, You know, be ready to go to work at 4 in the morning. I'm going to teach you how to drive the truck."
That's pretty cool. What's your average cruising speed there, Juan?
I normally run 72, between 72 and 75, but I'm kind of entertained this morning, so I'm kind of level again. Every time I look down, I see I'm getting slower and slower.
Yeah, we got a pack of wolves creeping up on us, so if we can get about 68, 69, 70, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
So tell us about that first day of learning how to drive a truck with your dad. How did that go?
It was horrendous. I sat in the passenger seat, watched, and all of a sudden my dad jumps up. He's standing between the seats, or actually leaning over between the seats, and tells me, "Take over! Take over!" So I never drove a truck before, and now I'm going down the road driving the truck with no idea what to do other than to hold the steering wheel.
That's awesome. About what year was that, if you recall?
Oh my goodness, I was 17 years old, man. I'm not good with dates, Chris, but I would have said it was late 1970 something or another.
Well, that's pretty cool. So after you got the hang of trucking, what was your thoughts on it? Where'd you go from there?
Oh, for a long time, I would think to myself, I'm just doing this. It's just a job. I'm just doing this. But man, after all the years out here on the road, man, I'm a truck driver in the true sense of the word, man. I remember the old guys when I was first getting started in their cowboy button-up shirts and their cowboy boots and western jeans, and yeah, man, I pretty much represent that lifetime. You know, I still wear long pants. The cowboy boots I give up, man, but they're kind of slick on the bottom. But I'm still true to that old school nature, man. Help each other out. When you see a fella that needs a hand doing something or another, try to help him out.
Yes, sir. Well, the truck that you have there, it's a beautiful truck. Why don't you tell us about it? Starting with the year and the miles and all the other good stuff that we'd want to know about it.
From what I understand, we're the third owners of this truck. The second owner bought it when it was relatively new and kept it for quite a few years. I think it was about 2013. My nephew purchased it from the second owner, and it's been in the family ever since. It's a 1993 B model Kenworth 900. It's got a 3406 C model, which is a mechanical motor. It is a 350 horse motor, so it's not a big power cat, but very reliable and gets fairly enough decent fuel mileage as well.
Well, that sounds like all you need. Something that looks good and can get down the road as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have to mention, you have a good-looking rig yourself right there, that SRT8. It's a beautiful, beautiful wagon.
Well, thank you, sir. I'm going to scoot up here and hop in that right lane and let these folks get by.
As a matter of fact, we got a little hole coming, and I'm going to try to maintain in that little gap of traffic there.
10-4. I'm going to drop back to you, and I'll slide all the way back behind you and then come back around the left lane. You can keep it going.
Yes, sir. I'm going to try to stay in this little gap we got going on right now, and I'll give you a shot of Ryan there in the passenger seat. And don't be afraid to grab the mic and talk. I guess he could hear the truck pretty good right there.
Yeah.
So out of all the years that you've been trucking, what are some of the most memorable moments that you've been able to enjoy? Sometimes we got stories, and that's what we usually fall back on in terms of good times and things like that. But do you have any memorable moments that you can share?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. I could probably fill a book. I tell you, through the years, man, I tell you what, the adventures of Juan. I have adventures, man, on a daily, it seems like, man. I could tell you, one winter night, man, it's snowing like crazy. I'm on a back road in California, and I find a wide spot, and I pull over, and here comes the salt truck. He pulls over. He goes, man, if the California Highway Patrol catches you without change on, you in trouble. I said, man, that's the least of my worry. My windshield wipers just quit working. My first day in bad weather, man, I was coming out of Chicago. It goes to snowing. I'm following an old Werner truck, and I'm thinking, man, I think that guy's more scared than I am. And all of a sudden, man, I hear over the CB radio, hey, boys, I'll make this quick and easy. And my world disappeared as that big chicken truck went by me, man. Snow flying everywhere. I couldn't see nothing. And right there, I made up my mind that was the guy to teach me how to drive in the snow. I hollered at him on the radio. I said, man, you know what you're doing. I'm fixing to come up there and follow you, because I'm going to drive like you. How fast you going? I'm doing 80, mister. He said, slow it down to 60. I'll wait up on you.
So did he teach you some tricks on getting down the road in the snow?
I made it to Los Angeles, and I pride myself on my winter driving skills, thanks to Mikey out of up there close to the Twin City in I think Minneapolis, Minnesota, somewhere up there.
So has flatbedding been all that you've done? What other types of trailers and freight have you pulled?
Well, I've done one load with a reefer, and took a load of cheese to the supermarket warehouse there in Tampa, and I saw how the lumpers unloaded the cheese and kept throwing cheese out through the floor of the dock so they could prepare lunch. I thought that was enough of the reefer work for me. Then I pulled vans for the whole 25 years I was over the road. I did vans. Local work, I did dump work, and a little flat, but not enough to talk about. Then after the 25 years over the roads where I took up open deck, so that's been the last 6 years or so.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. So out of all of the loads that you've pulled, what's been the worst load that you'd say, hey, I don't want to ever pull that again?
Oh, absolutely. A broker called me one day and said, man, I've got this load going to Pennsylvania. It's a load of salt, loads in Cape Canaveral. And man, I got nobody to cover. Man, I need your help. I need your help. I need you to, man, just do me a favor, a huge. I went and loaded that salt, and I was mad all the way up to Pennsylvania for hauling that cheap load of salt.
Did just not pay enough?
Yeah, that was a van load.
And you didn't like it because it didn't pay enough?
Yeah, man, that thing was underpaid and overweighted, and it was just, the further I drove, the more mad I was myself, and not telling the man I can't do favors. Favors don't pay the bills.
Yes, sir. I agree with you there.
I've done a lot of interesting loads. I've moved Navy flight crews from one side of the country to the other. I've hauled a rocket nozzle in the van that was slated for one of the space shuttle flights. Gosh, I've loaded next to a nuclear aircraft carrier. I've unloaded next to a submarine at a submarine base. I've done a lot of really cool stuff through my years.
Out of those years, what's the most important lesson that you've learned? Something that, that you learned that you can also pass to someone else as well?
As far as driving goes, sometimes it's faster to slow down and take your time than it is to continue to rush. Also, I would always tell people, give yourself space, plenty of space in front of you. Don't ride in the pack. Leave you an escape route. Life lessons. Slow down. Don't chase the dollar so much, because there's other things that are more important. Because one day my kids were toddlers, and then you turn the page, and man, they're growing in out of school and starting their own lives, and man, it just flies by when you're having a good time.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you there. So when it comes to trucking and being a career trucker, do you have any regrets? As in, wish that you would have done anything differently along the way? What's your thoughts on that?
I wouldn't call them regrets. I would say missed opportunities. I've always looked at the guys that pull the extendable RGNs and see them going down the road with their RGN extended out with an 80-foot long load. I wish I would have took the time to head in that direction when I was younger. Of course, at my age now, next February I'll be 60. I'm not going to say it's too late to start, man, but when you're younger, you just learn everything absolutely so much easier.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a good way to put it, a missed opportunity. You can never say never. There's guys out there, doing that sort of work and everything, at all sorts of ages.
Sure. Chris, you wouldn't mind if I gave a quick shout out to some of my past employers, do you?
No, not at all.
Oh man, I want to holler out that Landstar for the 14 great years they gave me. Mercer Transportation for the 8 years they gave me. Fantastic people there from Dale Coram, the leader, all the way down. My open deck experience started here at Steps Towing in Tampa, where Daryl's the one that gave me some hands-on training, and as well as a couple of other drivers there, and of course a shout out to JR Truck Lines, man, my nephew, my boss, best guy to work for in the universe.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was asking Ryan if he got anything to say, but he's being quiet over there, just observing. Like, I don't know if he's enjoying this bus ride or not.
Yeah, it probably is. I'm gonna drop in behind you and pop out in the left lane.
Yeah, man, I'm just observing here, hanging out with Juan, and just never been in a truck before, so this is pretty awesome. I'm loving it.
That sounds good.
And now you got some CB radio experience. How about that? There you go.
So I'm checking out the end of the trailer here. I love those mud flap weights. I got the old K Whopper. That made me think of a question for you. Kenworth versus Peterbilt. What's your thoughts on trucks? You know, are you a dedicated Kenworth man or what?
Yeah, but I will tell you, Chris, the Kenworth guys, every time they see a Peterbilt go by, they're checking out the Peterbilt. And the Peterbilt guys, they see a Kenworth looking good going by, and they're checking out that Kenworth. And I tell you, it's Cadillac and Lincoln. You know, I would have to say the Lincoln is the Peterbilt because it's a little more sporty looking, and the Kenworth will be the Cadillac. It's just got a little more class to it than all the others, right?
That's where the fight on the internet starts, right there. I'm gonna hop over one.
But the thing, man, is getting some smiles per miles, man. Little kids go by and they pump that arm and you give them a good old horn blast, and man, that's just stuff dreams are made of, right?
Absolutely.
Couldn't go out without mentioning my brother Mike. We're up and down 75 all the time. He's the one that showed me how to keep up with the truck. Keep it clean, Mr. Mike. Nobody keeps a truck cleaner than Mr. Mike, right?
Yes, sir. We had a pleasure of getting him on camera a couple months ago, and he told me that I needed to catch up with you at some point. I'm glad that we crossed paths there at the Chrome Shop.
Yeah, me too. I actually, when you were walking up to me, I thought, oh, the guy in the other truck wants to talk to me, and I jumped in the truck to shut the motor off, and as I was stepping back out of the truck, it dawned on me, man, that's Chris.
Yes, sir. What kind of person it takes to do this job? You know, being a trucker and everything.
It used to take a real tough person, man, because I tell you, when I started in trucking, man, these trucks didn't have any suspensions in the seats. The truck suspension, they were made out of steel, and anyway, so I think they call for a tougher kind of guy. As the years have gone through, the trucks have gotten almost like a luxury car, if you will. Cruise control, automated gearboxes, power brakes, power steering, power windows, heated and cooled seats, massaging seats, and I still think it takes a tougher person to endure all the adversities that go on in one day trucking. You know, from blowing a tire to getting hit by a car or hitting the car, the aggravations of the shippers keeping you tied up, waiting to get you loaded, and it takes a tough person. You can't just come out here and be soft and make it through a week of trucking.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a good way to put that. You know, it being it taking a tough person.
I gotta give a shout out to the female truckers out here, man. There's some female truckers I've seen. Have to shout out to Jill, my flatbed girl. Man, that lady is my age group, and she's an open decker. Tarps, throws chains and binders. She ain't scared of nothing.
Yeah, for sure. So in all of the years that you've driven, how many miles have you driven?
Well, my first 10 years were local, And those trucks had old speedometers, and I was working for family. Never thought about how many miles I put in those first 10 years. After that, I ended up at Landstar, and I did, I think, $1.2 million with them. I probably got another $1 million once I worked over at Mercer and my local driving. So I would imagine I probably got about between 2 and 3 million miles somewhere. Just a real safe estimate.
No, that's respectable. What's the most useful thing that a guy would need to keep on their truck with him? It could be a tool, it could be a creature comfort, or whatever it is. What do you think that is?
I think you should have an emergency bag, just for emergencies. You don't know what's going to happen on any given day. And I was faced with that challenge here 2 months ago, man. I drove a truck for 8 hours before it decided to blow a steer tire. And by the time I got it safely on the shoulder and parked it in straight line, I got out to look at the damage, and there was a fire where the tire was, man, and that truck burned to the ground. I tried to get the trailer separated. When I reached the door handle, then pulled the cords, let the landing gear down, grabbed the door handle, the engine turned off. That time I just jumped in the truck and I thought, what can I not live without? And I grabbed my cell phone and my sleep apnea bag and jumped out of the truck. There was a few other things in the truck that I wish I would have gotten, you know, that ended up burning up with that truck.
Yeah, that's a great answer. You know, a bag that you can grab that has all the essentials in it. Maybe even having a duplicate of things just in case, but you know that bag is your, you know, like a parachute, so to speak. You know, grab it and you got everything in it.
Yeah, sure. Luckily I had my wallet in my pocket, but one thing that went away that I wish I would have had in my pocket was my car keys. You know, car key fob now for modern cars, they're pricey. Well, that burn up.
Yes, sir. Advice for someone that wants to get into trucking. You know, they don't know much about it. You know, even like a guy like Ryan sitting next to you. What type of advice would you give to a guy to steer them in the right direction?
Well, if a guy is looking for a new career and he's considering trucking, the first thing I tell them is, man, realize trucking is a 70-hour week. And whoever you work for is going to want to get 70 hours out of you in a week. And really, there is no overtime. Very few companies pay hourly in the trucking industry. There are some, however. So I tell them, consider that. You're going to have to work double what most people work. And if you still think that's what you want to do and you got trucking in your blood, it's not a bad way to earn a living. It's a clean way to earn a living. You're not stealing, cheating anybody. It's good, hard, honest work.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a certain amount of pride that comes along with, you know, being a truck driver, trucking down the road in many different facets.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as the years go by, I've noticed that the group of guys that take pride in their ride is getting fewer and fewer. But yeah, you still see them. A young guy, just Monday, I think. Tuesday morning, I was getting the truck polished, getting ready for this winter season, and there's a young guy there, man, truck driver, probably in his mid-20s. Putting a drop visor on his Freightliner Cascadia, man. He's telling me how nice my ride looked, and I told him the same about his, man. And he says, yeah, it makes me feel good when I'm walking back to my truck and I'm looking at it and it's clean and it looks good. Ryan wanted to know what's the scariest load I've ever done. And in quick answer, I can't think of a load that scared me. You know, I've had many challenges at trucking, and like when I blew that steer tire, a couple of months ago actually didn't scare me. It's just like your body takes over your natural reflexes, and before you have a chance to think, I'd done everything I needed to do correctly to keep from hitting the truck I was passing, and maintaining control of the truck, because it got real squirrely, and by the time I got it all settled down and we were just coasting to the shoulder, I was like, wow, all that happened by itself, you know.
What type of CB radio do you run? And do you have a CB handle?
Yes, sir, I do have a CB handle. I went by JC for many years, and at one point in my life, I decided I had to have a big old CB radio, and I had doggone, I forgot what range, a Connex. I had a Connex with 2 transistors in it, and it was kicking my first box, which was a 4 transistor X-Force, and that was hitting the big box, which was a 16 transistor X-Force box on a 800 amp motor mall, and you know, I was doing in the neighborhood of 5,000 watts PEP, and truck driver asked me, how many watts are you doing, driver? Man, I can do 5,000 watts. Oh, book. I said, okay, you're right. And I said, I'm running 13 watts, driver. After I said that just stuck to my mind, and from that moment on, I was 13 watts. Of course, right now, it's just a Striker 655 on a Striker antenna is all I'm running. But I'm kind of tempted to go back and pumping it up and shoot and skip on all the other channels where people communicate.
You're trying to be one of those Mud Duck 2.0s?
Nah, never a mud duck. Always a superstar, right?
Yeah, 10-4. Well, Ryan, do you have any questions for Mr. Juan there?
What keeps you going, like, for those 12 hours if you're just alone in your truck? Like,
Ryan was just asking me on a shift what keeps me going, and I guess the answer is some of us are just nomads. We're just born to go here and go there and always be moving, and I consider myself a nomad. I also have that ability, God-given ability, that I can, stay up many hours in a row. I sleep 3 hours and, be up 20, 24 hours with no problem, and have always have had that endurance from an early age.
Well, that's cool. It takes a special breed for sure. Well, we're gonna hit the 52 exit, and we'll exchange passengers. And Juan, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I think we might have to do a part 2, because that book that you talked about, it seems like we may need to get that in the written form. If not, we'll get it in a video form, and another day when you're cruising down the road.
It's been a pleasure, and as well, Chris. And Ryan says he's ready to keep trucking, so I guess I'm gonna go make videos with you, man.
Sounds good. What do you think about tucking right here on this shoulder right here?
Absolutely.
Try not to be too wordy, Chris.
No, that was fun. That was fun.
It's stuck. Can't get out.
Well, Ryan,
Flies when you're having.
I know. We could have
Oh, yeah.
cruised a couple more exits, or where are you delivering at?
got it delivered there off Nebraska Avenue and Fowler
Okay.
in Tampa. Then I've got to go pick up in Plant City.
Yeah.
And bring that to the yard.
Okay.
That's for next week.
Okay.
And a load of James Hardy board.
Okay.
And then come on back and call it a year, because it'll be time for Thanksgiving.
That's true.
The year's about gone.
Yeah. Ryan, what do you think about this is your first official semi-truck ride?
Oh man, it was awesome. Yeah, man, I'd never ridden in a semi before, and Juan was great, man, and yeah, I was impressed. It's just been fun, and it was thanks Juan for doing that for me. And I didn't expect to ride the truck, so that was awesome, actually.
Would you ride? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
And got some CB experience.
Yeah. So would you ride again?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, we'll grab that camera out of there, and then we'll start heading back north.
Cool. Hey, can I get a picture with you, Juan?
Oh, absolutely. Like we're family. Let's flip that camera around.
There we go. Awesome, man.
Hey, man, it was great, Ryan.
So what do you guys think? Should we do another episode with Juan? Let me know.
So this is your full-time job then?
Yes, between photography or things related to commercial trucks.
Okay.
That's what I've done in the last 12 years. If somebody called up locally and wanted something done, I'll shoot it for them locally.
Right.
But companies, aftermarket companies have hired me to make content for them. Big manufacturers like Mack Trucks have hired me to make content for them. Western Star Trucks, a manufacturer, hired me to do stuff for them. I've been able to do stuff specifically within this category, but also make content in a way that that I like.
Right.
But it also allows the viewer to enjoy the content that they want to enjoy, but at the same time they can get sold a bumper or a part or this, so indirect marketing basically.
Right.
After coming out of a semi truck and getting back into a passenger car, what's your thoughts?
Man, yeah, it was just an amazing experience, honestly. Never, like I said, never ridden in a big rig like that. And, as a kid, you always, look at those and just awesome vehicles, and yeah, it was just, there's no other word. It was just fantastic, and Juan was awesome. And, Juan was a great host, let me ride with him, and his truck was cool shit. And, yeah, it was just awesome time.
Well, it looks like he was ready to give you the wheel there after 5 minutes or less.
Oh yeah, he was like, "I'm gonna catch some shut eye. Let me, you take the wheel, Ryan."
That's awesome. Ryan, after getting a first-hand look and riding in a truck and seeing a bit of the lifestyle of a truck driver, what's your thoughts now in correlation to what you offer to these guys?
Yeah, just riding with Juan, and like I said before, they're kind of the backbone of America, and if I can help these guys, save a little bit of money and take care of them when they get sick, if I can kind of do my part, it kind of makes me happy as well.
Yeah. And with that being said, just tell the folks exactly what you offer and how to get in contact with you.
So easiest way, you can call or text me, 813-504-2665, or email me at rymyinsuranceguy@gmail.com, rymyinsuranceguy@gmail.com. And, we have a great insurance plans to take care of you. No deductibles, no co-pays. It's private side, $3,000 out of pocket. If anything like catastrophic happens, but chances are you won't pay that if you're just kind of a normal, healthy person. And, a bunch of other stuff. Free doctor's visits per year, walk in, walk out, paying nothing. I I come if you buy an insurance plan through me, I come with the plan, so you have my personal cell phone number, and so you can text me whenever, and I'll take care of you if anything bad happens.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.